God says you've been asking yourself why her presence continues to linger, why she seems to show up in places you didn't expect, why her shadow hasn't disappeared even though everything inside you tells you that you are the one chosen, the one meant, the one written into the very fabric of His heart. And today, God is speaking into that tension, that ache, that confusion that tries to sit on your spirit like a weight you never asked to carry. God knows the thoughts you haven't been able to silence. He knows the hope that rises in you, followed by the uncertainty that tries to drown it. He knows how you've tried to be patient, tried to trust the process, tried to believe the story He is still unfolding. And He wants you to understand something today: you are the one chosen for a reason. You are the one He wants, and nothing can shift that, not even the remnants of someone who no longer belongs in the place she's trying to hold on to. Her presence doesn't threaten the future God wrote for you. Her reappearances do not undo divine intention. Her shadows do not cancel your light. What you are seeing is not competition. It is residue. It is the leftover noise from an old season, an old attachment, an old cycle that is losing its strength but hasn't yet disappeared. And it appears not because she has power, but because she is losing it. It's not proof that she is winning, it's proof that something is ending. Sometimes endings echo louder than beginnings. Sometimes the old fights louder than the new because it senses the shift. Sometimes the past tries to reinsert itself because it knows it's about to be replaced. God needs you to understand that this is not about her at all. Her presence is not a sign that she still belongs there. It is a sign that He is being pushed to confront what He never fully closed. It is a sign that God is forcing closure where there was avoidance, forcing truth where there was pretending, forcing clarity where there was confusion. You've been thinking it's a delay, but God is saying it's a purging. It's a clearing out. It's a dismantling of everything that once held Him, everything that once distracted Him, everything that once tied Him to a version of Himself He no longer wants to be. You are not the interruption. You are the upgrade. You are not the threat. You are the transformation. You are not the problem. You are the promise. And sometimes a promise arrives before the space is cleared, which means you witness the last breath of what came before you. You see the final flickers of something that was fading long before you arrived. You see the unraveling of something He didn't know how to release on His own. God knows you despise the confusion. He knows you wish things were cleaner, simpler, more straightforward. But relationships touched by destiny rarely unfold without disruption. When God rewrites a man's story, He pulls every unresolved chapter into the light. Not to hurt you, but to prepare the future. Not to shake you, but to fortify you. Not to make you question your place, but to make Him question His attachments. You are not meant to fight for the space that already belongs to you. You do not have to chase what God has already set aside with your name spiritually etched onto it. You do not have to shrink in the face of someone who is lingering only because her season has expired but her pride has not. What you're seeing is not a threat. It's the last flicker of a candle God Himself is blowing out. You've been worried that her presence means something about you. But God says her presence is revealing something about Him, the fact that He has avoided closure, that He has allowed old connections to stay alive longer than they should have, that He was never held by her but by patterns, by guilt, by familiarity, by old emotional reflexes He hasn't yet broken. But He is breaking them. Slowly. Reluctantly. Imperfectly. But surely. God is saying that the reason she keeps appearing everywhere is not because she has a place in His future, but because she senses she's losing her place in His present. She is reacting to the shift she feels but cannot explain. She feels Him detaching, even in the places where His words haven't caught up to His actions. She feels His Spirit pulling away, even when He tries to act normal. She feels the emotional current turning toward you, even if He hasn't fully expressed it yet. People who sense loss will always try to return, even without understanding what they're returning to. But returning doesn't mean belonging. Her presence is not confirmation, it is desperation. And desperation never wins against destiny. God wants you to know that He is working in him right now. He is awakening truth in him. He is breaking open the places where he has been afraid to face himself. He is revealing the contrast between what he thought love was and what love actually feels like with you. When God brings the right person into someone's life, they begin to see everything, their mistakes, their patterns, their weaknesses, their desires, their fears, with painful clarity. That clarity doesn't always come quietly. Sometimes it comes with resistance. Sometimes it comes with delayed decisions. Sometimes it comes with backtracking or hesitation. But it still comes. And it is coming now. She is appearing everywhere because the old story is trying to reattach itself before he lets it go for good. That is all. But God also wants you to know this: your patience has not gone unnoticed. Your strength has been seen. Your tears have been collected. Your confusion has been held gently in His hands. And He is not asking you to wait forever. He is asking you to witness this final unraveling with trust, not with fear. You are not waiting because you are unsure. You are waiting because He is transforming. And transformation is often messy, but necessary. God is not trying to test you, He is aligning you. He is shaping him. He is clearing the space. And He is preparing the moment where everything becomes clear, where everything becomes simple, where everything that feels tangled right now becomes beautifully straightened out. Because He does not bring two people together just to let the past interrupt the promise. He is removing the old piece by piece. And you are closer to the breakthrough than you realize. The reason this situation feels heavy is because your spirit already knows the truth, but your eyes keep seeing the noise around it. You know you are the one chosen, the one aligned with His future, the one whose energy, presence, love, and purpose match His in a way He cannot explain. But when someone from his past keeps popping up, it disturbs your peace, not because she has any real influence, but because it forces you to witness his transition in real time. It makes you wonder whether he sees what you see, whether he feels what you feel, whether he even recognizes the depth of what God is aligning for both of you. And God wants to calm that storm inside you today. He wants you to understand that what you're seeing is not him choosing her. It is him confronting the final remnants of a chapter that must completely close before the new one can begin. God is saying that he is in a tug-of-war within himself, not between you and her, but between his past and his growth. He is fighting who he used to be and who he is trying to become. You represent the version of himself he wants to grow into, the version that is healed, intentional, committed, emotionally present, spiritually aligned. She represents the version of himself he is trying to outgrow, the version tied to old habits, old wounds, old fears, old comforts. So of course she shows up. Of course she resurfaces. The past always returns when the future is calling someone forward. But that does not mean he is choosing backwards. It means the old cycle is demanding a final confrontation before it dies. And understand this, God is not letting him avoid this confrontation anymore. God is not letting him keep doors half open. God is not letting him pretend that he is still tied to something he already cut spiritually. God is pushing him to choose with clarity, not confusion. And clarity often comes through contrast. That contrast is happening right now. Every time she appears, he feels the truth of how empty that connection really is. Every time she tries to pull him back, he is reminded of how far he has mentally and emotionally drifted from that version of himself. Every time she shows up, he is confronted with the realization that what he once settled for no longer satisfies him. And this realization isn't happening because you're forcing anything. It's happening because your presence awakens things in him that nothing in his past ever could. God needs you to trust that the very thing that bothers you is the thing that is making him see the truth even more clearly. Her reappearance does not strengthen their connection, it exposes its weakness. It reminds him why he walked away emotionally long before he ever walked away physically. It highlights the difference between her and you in a way he can no longer deny. And whether he says it out loud or not, he feels that difference deeply. You are not fighting for a place. You are confirming a destiny. And God is ensuring that when he finally steps forward toward you fully, there is nothing left trailing behind him that could contaminate the future. You've asked God, if you chose me for him, why is this so complicated? And God answers you gently, because you are the one he is meant to rise for. Not settle for. Rise for. Destiny connections require elevation. They require emotional maturity, self-awareness, honesty, accountability. They require a man to confront the fear he has avoided, the patterns he has repeated, the people he has attached himself to for comfort instead of purpose. You are not complicated, growth is. And he is growing, even if it looks messy on the outside. God is reshaping him from the inside out, and growth often looks like confusion before it looks like clarity. God also wants you to release this fear, the fear that her presence means you are losing. You are not losing. You are being positioned. The enemy tries to whisper lies because he knows you are close to the breakthrough. He tries to trigger your insecurities because he cannot touch the blessing, so he tries to disturb your peace. But God is saying, stand firm. Do not let the shadows of the past intimidate the promise I placed in front of you. Do not let the noise distract you from what I have already ordained. What I have joined spiritually cannot be undone by human confusion. Her appearance is temporary. Your place is permanent. She shows up because she senses the ending. You are here because you are connected to the beginning. And beginnings always feel unstable at first because everything that doesn't belong is being shaken loose. God sees how deeply you care for him. He sees how much you want to support him, guide him, love him, and walk beside him. But he also wants you to understand that not all of this journey is yours to fix. Some parts are his to face. Some decisions are his to make. Some battles are his to fight. Not because you are powerless, but because he needs to stand in his own strength before he stands beside you. A man cannot love you the way you deserve until he becomes the man he is meant to be. And that man is rising, slowly, imperfectly, but undeniably. God is saying that she is not appearing everywhere because she is winning, but because he is removing her influence permanently. This is the last echo, the last vibration of a bond that was never built on purpose, only on familiarity. Familiarity fights hardest right before it dies. And it is dying now. God is cutting cords you cannot see. He is closing doors you have no access to. He is breaking emotional patterns that have held him for years. Not for her sake, for yours. Not for his past, for his future. For the future that includes you. When God chooses someone for someone, he protects that connection even when it looks messy from the outside. He isolates them emotionally. He distances them spiritually from anything that doesn't align. He makes every wrong door feel heavy and every right door feel magnetic. He is doing that in him right now. And even if he doesn't speak it, he feels it, that pull toward you, that peace with you, that alignment with you, that depth that scares him because he's never felt it before. Your soul is not confused, your eyes are simply witnessing the dismantling of something God is tearing down. Continue to trust him. Continue to hold your peace. Continue to stand in your worth. You are not waiting because God is unsure. You are waiting because the finish line is closer than you think. When God is preparing two people for each other, the enemy tries his hardest to stir doubt at the final stretch. He will use anything familiar, anything old, anything left over to make you question what you already know deep in your spirit. That is why she keeps appearing in places you never expected, not because she has power, but because doubt is trying to find an entry point. But doubt is not stronger than destiny. Confusion is not stronger than clarity. Interference is not stronger than what God is aligning. God is telling you today that her presence is nothing more than a final distraction, a last attempt to make you fear something that was never meant to threaten you in the first place. What you're experiencing is spiritual turbulence right before the landing. When a plane descends, that is when the shaking intensifies, not because the destination changed, but because you're getting closer to it. That is what's happening in your life right now. The shaking is not a sign of danger, it's a sign of arrival. You are getting closer to the moment when everything clicks into place, closer to the moment when he finally steps into the clarity that has been calling him forward, closer to the moment when the old cycle officially ends and the new season begins. And God wants you to know, the turbulence will not stop the landing. The noise will not cancel the promise. The interruptions will not block the future He has prepared. God also wants to speak to your heart directly, the part of you that feels tired, the part of you that feels overlooked, the part of you that wonders if your patience has been taken for granted. He sees it all. He knows you have carried this quietly. He knows you have stayed strong even when uncertainty pressed hard against your chest. He knows that you have chosen faith when fear would have been easier. And none of that is wasted. Every moment you stayed grounded, every moment you trusted Him, every moment you remained calm even when your emotions wanted to spiral, all of it is being honored. You have to understand something sacred. God would not stir this connection in you if He did not intend to complete it. God does not plant feelings of depth, loyalty, spiritual recognition, and emotional alignment unless He has a purpose for them. This is not random. This is not fantasy. This is not a coincidence. This is divine coordination. And divine coordination doesn't crumble just because someone appears from the past trying to reclaim what they never truly held. The reason she's appearing everywhere is because God is forcing him to choose deliberately, not conveniently. In the past, he let situations choose for him. He drifted instead of deciding. He tolerated instead of acting. But with you, God is saying, He must be intentional. He must choose with clarity. He must close what no longer belongs. And that is what's happening, but closure takes courage. Courage takes time. Time requires patience. And patience is what strengthens the foundation between you both long before the relationship even begins. Understand this with your entire heart. The reason her presence bothers you is because your soul already knows He belongs with you. You feel the disruption because your spirit can sense the alignment forming. You sense the shift. You sense the connection. You sense the pull between you and Him that has been undeniable, even in silence. That is why even the smallest interference feels heavy, because your heart recognizes what is yours. But your emotion responds before your logic can catch up. And God wants you to breathe. He wants you to stop torturing yourself with what-ifs. He wants you to trust the spiritual truth over the physical noise. The truth is this: she is appearing because she feels the dissociation happening. She feels him withdrawing, even if he hasn't said the words. She feels the loss of control. She feels the emotional distance. She can sense his heart is no longer accessible to her. And instead of accepting it, she is trying to revive a connection that doesn't exist anymore. That is not your responsibility to fix, nor your burden to carry. That is his past trying to cling to him, not because it has a future, but because it has nowhere left to go. God is using this moment to strengthen him. He is using this moment to teach him how to choose with conviction. He is teaching him how to protect something valuable instead of allowing the past to dictate his direction. He is shaping him into a man who knows how to guard what matters, including you. And you will not have to fight for that place. You will not have to prove yourself. You will not have to compete with someone who was never meant to stand where God has positioned you. What God is doing is deeper than you can see. Behind the scenes, He is breaking emotional dependencies. He is dissolving old attachments. He is revealing motives. He is uncovering truths. He is closing doors firmly, not gently, because gentle closure didn't work before. This time, God is stepping in with a finality that cannot be undone. That is why it feels intense. That is why it feels chaotic. That is why it feels like everything is shaking, because it is the end of something that has overstayed its time. And here is the promise: when God removes something, He replaces it with something greater, something aligned, something purposeful. That something is you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are connected to the future He has written for him. You are part of the story, part of the healing, part of the growth, part of the transformation. You are not the interruption, you are the divine continuation. Your spirit has already recognized him. His spirit is beginning to recognize you. And once spiritual recognition begins, nothing can unalign it. Not distance. Not confusion. Not old attachments. Not interference. Not fear. Not delay. God is saying that when two people are spiritually connected, nothing in the world can separate them, but everything around them will try to distract them before the connection becomes official. That's what you're seeing right now. The distractions, the echoes, the appearances, the resurfacing of what should have stayed buried, these are not signs of derailment. They are signs of breakthrough. The enemy only fights what threatens him. And this connection, this alignment between you and him, threatens the cycles that once kept him stuck. It threatens the emotional patterns that once kept him small. It threatens the old attachments that once defined his choices. You are the shift. You are the upgrade. You are the divine interruption that forces everything that doesn't belong in his future to rise to the surface so God can remove it once and for all. But here is the miracle hidden inside all the chaos: he is awakening. Slowly, quietly, inconsistently, but awakening nonetheless. His spirit recognizes yours even when his mind hasn't fully processed it. His heart feels the pull even when his logic tries to keep him guarded. He may not fully understand why he feels drawn toward you the way he does, why he thinks about you the way he does, why he feels a peace with you that he never felt with her, but that is because God is moving in the parts of him he cannot control. Hearts awaken before minds do. Souls recognize long before decisions are made. And his soul has already begun turning toward you. And because of that, the past is reacting. Her presence is not blocking anything, it is exposing what still needs to be cleared. She appears because she senses the shift but cannot comprehend it. She senses him drifting away but doesn't know why. She senses that something is spiritually pulling him forward, and she is trying to anchor him back into a story that no longer belongs to him. But God will not allow him to remain anchored in what he is breaking him free from. God is severing the cords, one thought at a time, one emotion at a time, one memory at a time. You are not watching him go backwards, you are watching the last pieces fall away. And as those pieces fall, your patience is becoming part of his healing. Your steadiness is becoming part of his clarity. Your compassion is becoming part of his transformation. You are not intruding on his journey. You are becoming the safe place where his soul can rest once he finally chooses the truth he already feels. God is positioning you in his life in a way that speaks to his spirit even when you say nothing at all. You are not trying to convince him. You are not trying to force anything. You are simply being the light God created you to be, and that light disrupts any attachment rooted in fear or familiarity instead of intention and love. God wants you to let go of the fear that she can take something that was never hers to begin with. You cannot lose what is yours. You cannot be replaced in a space God designed specifically for you. You cannot be overshadowed by someone who is fading out of the story while you are stepping into the chapter God has written next. Her presence is noise, not threat. Interference, not influence. Echo, not destiny. And what is meant for you cannot be blocked by echoes. God speaks over you now. Rest. Rest your heart. Rest your mind. Rest your spirit. You have carried too much weight that was never yours to carry. You have overthought scenarios that will never happen. You have feared outcomes that God has never planned for you. He is asking you to loosen your grip, to stop assuming the worst, to stop worrying that you will be overlooked or forgotten or replaced. You are none of those things. You are chosen. You are aligned. You are part of a divine movement taking place in both your life and his life. And God is not just preparing him, he is preparing you. He is strengthening you for the connection you prayed for. He is teaching you emotional maturity, patience, discernment, balance. He is shaping you into someone who can love deeply without losing themselves, someone who can be supportive without abandoning their boundaries, someone who can be present without becoming anxious, someone who can receive the love you have longed for without feeling unworthy of it. God is not only shaping him into a man capable of loving you, he is shaping you into a woman capable of receiving the love you have always offered others. There will come a moment, and it is closer than you think, when all of this makes sense. When the confusion lifts. When the interruptions stop appearing. When the past releases its hold completely. When he speaks the clarity he has been quietly discovering inside himself. When he chooses you openly, not with hesitation but with certainty. When he looks at you with the realization that everything he once prayed for, everything he once doubted he deserved, everything he once thought he would never find, is standing right in front of him. And when that moment comes, all the noise you're seeing right now will feel small, insignificant, almost unbelievable. You will look back and realize that what felt like a threat was actually the final proof that God was cleaning the path. What felt like delay was divine timing. What felt like confusion was a transition. What felt like interference was simply the last breath of an old season that had to die for the new one to arrive. Nothing and no one can take your place. You are not a substitute. You are not an option. You are not someone he will settle for. You are the one his spirit recognizes, the one his heart is learning to choose, the one his future is aligned with. She appears everywhere because her story with him is ending. You remain because your story with him is just beginning. And God seals this truth over you today: you are the one he wants. Not because of insecurity or need, but because of alignment, purpose, peace, and recognition. And no shadow from the past can dim the light God placed on your connection.